TheoCast. I'm Steven.
And I'm Jason, and this week we are diving into the themes of friendship and loyalty, exploring how these values are depicted in two iconic 90s TV shows, Friends and Saved by the Bell. We'll examine how these shows reflect biblical principles and provide us with valuable lessons on maintaining strong, supportive relationships.
Yeah, relationships. No, I'm kidding. Uh, Friendship and loyalty are central to our lives, and both of these shows offer profound insights into these values. Let's start with Friends, a show that has become synonymous with the concept of chosen family. Now, what's interesting about
Yes.
Friends, and I know I'm going a little off script, is they are making a movie thanks to the guy that played Chandler's death.
Oh, Matthew Perry.
Yeah, Matthew Perry. They're making a movie. It's going to be released on HBO.
Mm.
Um, I am not the. I was never the biggest fan of Friends, but I'm glad they're doing it. And as I get older, I can appreciate this more.
Yeah. I didn't grow up watching it. My wife did.
I was about
She
to
loved
say,
it.
your wife did.
We went. That's one of the shows that we went through, and we watched all the way through. So I can say I've seen it once. Yeah, I mean it wasn't my favorite, but I enjoyed it. It definitely had some episodes that were good. I enjoyed. My wife and I quote it a bit, not as much as others, but we quote it, and I mean, I get it. I know it's one of like the big iconic shows in the '90s. I get it. I do like the sense of humor that they have. It's definitely not necessarily the type of humor that we have today, that shows have today. Um, but again, I've watched it. I can say I've seen it all the way through at least one time. And again, I get it. So yeah, it's good. So with all talking about that, well, let's dive in. So, Friends, as we know, is one of the most endearing and beloved sitcoms of the 90s. Features a close knit group of friends who support each other through various life events. You have Ross and Monica, who are siblings. Of course, you have Rachel, which Ross and Rachel go back and forth. You have Chandler, who him and Monica are a thing. I hope I can say this without. I mean, I feel like I can say some of these spoilers that
You might as
because
well. I
it's
mean,
been so
everybody's seen
long.
it. Yeah.
I know, right? And then you got Joey, who he doesn't share food. Joey's pretty funny. And then of course Phoebe, she's just the crazy one. All of them embody different aspects of friendship and loyalty. And for the record, Chandler is my favorite. Like I didn't really care for Ross. Like I don't know. To me, he was a little whiny. Joey was funny. He was good, but I think Chandler for me because he was so sarcastic. Man, Chandler, yes. I think that's why because sarcasm. That's why.
Okay, so question.
Okay.
Out of our friends from college that we still hang out
Uh
with,
huh.
um, who would you say is who in that friend diagram?
Oh, I can't answer that. I need more time.
Okay, fine? Who would you say that I was?
You? I wouldn't really say Ross because I don't really see you as a Ross. Um, I don't know. I would say Joey because
Ah, there
Joey's
you
just
go.
kind of like friends with everyone. Loved to eat. He was just like he was funny.
Preach it. Love
He
to eat.
was he was the comedic relief. So I would say you'd be Joey. No, I'm just kidding. You would be Gunther.
Oh, shut up! I would not be Gunther,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'd say
and
Joey.
that's going to be clipped and put it on YouTube by the end of the night.
Go for it. Go for it.
uh, be like the most worst diss person can get, and I'll put you like with a little shades on your like your Shades. You call me Gunther? Yeah, I like that.
I so side note, I had a conversation with a really good friend. I mean, this was like, I don't know, however many years ago, like 5, 6, 7 years ago or so. So we were sitting at Buffalo Wild Wings, and he 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 asked me that question because we were talking about friends. He says,
Right.
"Yeah, I think I see myself as Joey." He's all talking about it, and I was like, "No, I see you as Gunther." And he just looked at me with like this death stare, like, "How dare you insult me like that?"
Well, like
I
here's
was
the
like,
thing. Here's the thing. I don't care who I am because I don't really care enough about the show to actually care. But like, realistically, like, your friends get to pick who you are. You don't get to decide who you're going to be. Um, the show's portrayal of friendship is a brilliant reflection of biblical principles such as Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born in a time of adversity. Huh? Where have I heard that verse before?
I feel like that sounds so familiar. It's like, I don't know. It's
Every week?
important. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe God is trying to get to tell somebody that, hey,
Yeah.
um, this is what friendship is. This is what
Yeah.
brotherhood is.
True friendship.
True friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what I feel like there's a word that we could another word we can use.
Another
Um,
I know what you're talking
what's
about.
that word? That's the word.
That word. Okay.
Yep, that's
as
it.
As long as we're on the same page. Okay.
We're on the same page.
Okay. Awesome.
Page 42. Go ahead.
Any case, I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah. So, a brother is born in a time in adversity. The characters of Friends demonstrates this through unwavering support for one another, no matter the situation.
Yeah. So, like, for example, there were many instances where they rallied around each other. Whether it was helping Ross with his multiple, 3 divorces that he had.
Oh, God, please, no! 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 No!
During his acting struggles. I mean, they really meshed together, and they weren't just like friends. I mean, it was as if they really were family, It was wonderful, and it was so cool because it felt real. Like we all have those friends that don't really feel like friends. It's more like they're actual brothers or sisters.
Yeah.
It was genuine. It's consistent. It's genuine, and that's part of what makes the show so great. Not only is it funny, but it has those aspects.
I love how you say like they're consistent and genuine, but there's good examples of that, like in the iconic Thanksgiving episode where the group often faces challenges but comes together to celebrate and support each other. This reflects Colossians 3:13, which urges us, bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. Look, I'm gonna talk about my personal life for a moment here. At this point, I just don't care. I am going through a divorce right now. For those who don't know, or going to start the process of getting a divorce. And the things that were said to me when she left me hurt me so deeply that I mean, Jason, how many times did I call you like having a bad day because I had intrusive
So many.
Intrusive thought of what she said?
So many.
And you know, it sucks. Um, but I'll say this: we have to forgive those people just like God forgives us. Now,
Yeah.
does that? Okay, I wanna. I know I'm touching on this. I'm like, that does not necessarily mean to forget what they've done, but it does mean forgive what they've done.
Yeah.
And with that, essentially, and if you translate it, essentially, don't hang on to the hurt. Let it go.
Yeah.
It's only then
Yeah.
can you actually experience true freedom.
Yeah. I have a wonderful sermon. My wife and I preached almost a year ago.
Yeah, it was.
And we talked about hurt, and we talked about scars, and you know what they are. And I can tell you, through that really tough time, it was, you know, and then even tough times that we've been through since, you know, there's been a lot of forgiveness, but a lot of struggling with forgiveness. But I will say, just like the verse you just read in Proverbs, and then again, and then this one in Colossians, you know, a brother is born for a time of adversity, and then this one, you know, forgive one another, you know, forgive as the Lord has forgiven you. You know, I can honestly say it hasn't been easy, but it's what made it easier is having those friends, having those people to support us, to say, I understand how you feel. It's going to take time to heal. And it does. Um, but that's the beauty of having that support group. That's the beauty of having those people is we really can get through anything, you know? And that's the beauty of God is we're not meant to be alone. We're meant to have relationships, those friendships. Again, I'm an only child, so like people like you, Steven, guys like you, or you're like family to me. You're not really like a friend. You well, yeah, well, yeah, and that's the amazing thing about God is He gives us those relationships, you know, and you know, getting back to this, you know, it's a fictional show. Friends is a fictional show, but the characters show, you know, this growth, this forgiveness, uh, in many ways, you know, especially with how they handle conflicts. Um, you know, the running thing throughout the entire show is Ross and Rachel, you know, they're on again, they're off again. You know, we were on a break. If you know, that's their big thing. Um, you know, and spoiler alert, in the end, they wind up together. Um,
No.
Yeah, I know. But you know, like they have their challenges, but those friends, they consistently help them navigate these issues, you know, with patience and understanding, even though I know at times they were just like, "Oh my gosh, can you two just get together and shut up? Like y'all are meant to be together, okay? Like just stop. Stop dating other people. Stop trying to marry other people, Ross. Like you're just meant." Okay, Ross was trying to marry Emily. Ivy Ross, take the Emily, take the Rachel. Emily. I said Emily. You know, like it's just they're friends. We're just like, just get together. Like you're meant to be together.
Yeah.
Together. They're probably like, finally, now stay together. Don't break up. You're meant to be together. A lot of patience, a lot of understanding, but they got through it.
The show also emphasizes the importance of being there for each other through joyous and challenging times. Chandler's struggle with his job and his friendship with Monica, Joey's acting career and Phoebe's past all receive support from the group, reflecting the Bible's idea of sharpening one another as seen in Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And you know, we see like this is another common theme like we've been seeing in our episodes. Like it really is, because like the first week we were talking about what?
We were talking about the power of friendship and family.
And what shows were we talking about?
Full House, Family Matters, and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Then the next week we started talking about Good Will Hunting. We started talking about Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
We started talking about some of the other stuff.
Forrest Gump. Yeah, overcoming adversity and personal growth.
And again, we see iron sharpens iron there too. And now we're here and last week we were talking about Jurassic Park, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Home Alone.
Home Alone.
And guess what? There we go. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Look.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this. We have one more week of this stuff. We haven't even looked at the script for next week. But I can almost guarantee you that verse is gonna be there.
Yeah. Because it's so important. Because again, we're meant to encourage one another. We're meant to sharpen each other, to build each other up. Favorite verse. One of my favorite verses. Bear each other's burdens, and in this way fulfill the law of Christ. Bear each other's burdens. We're meant to be in relationship with each other. We're meant to build each other up. We're meant to sharpen each other, because that's how we grow. Not just as Christians, but as people. Because again, it's hard. Life can be hard. But when we have those people in our lives, it makes it, I don't want to say easier, but it makes it more manageable. To know that there's people in my corner, that no matter what I'm going through, I got people in my corner that are going to let me cry on their shoulder, that are going to let me call them up at 3 a.m. being like, hey, I'm dealing with this, or I'm struggling with this, It's so important, And so, in summary, Friends offers a powerful example of how loyalty and support are foundational to strong relationships. It teaches us that true friendship involves standing by each other, forgiving imperfections, and growing together.
Now let's shift our focus to Saved by the Bell, another show that captures the essence of high school friendship and the value of loyalty. Again, another show I did not really care for, except Screech. I love Screech.
I watched it some, not all the time. I had a friend who was obsessed with it. Could quote, like, it was his favorite show. He could quote it inside and out. It was his thing. And I know they updated it, or what was it? They had like a sequel like years later where I think Slater and some of the others were like teachers. Watched it, but that's okay, because we're not talking about the newer stuff. We're talking about the classic, the original. Saved by the Bell takes us back to the halls of Bayside High, where a diverse group of students, Zack, Kelly, Slater, Jessie, and Screech, they navigate the trials of adolescence together. The show highlights the significance of loyalty and mutual support among friends.
One of the key themes in Saved by the Bell is how the characters support each other through various personal and academic challenges. Their loyalty is evident in episodes where they come together to help one another solve problems, face fears, and achieve goals.
Yeah. So, for example, there's an episode where Zack runs for class president, and his friends rally behind them, offering their support and advice. We know Ecclesiastes tells us 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. And if one of them falls down, the other, one can help the other up. It's perfect. Similarly.
Whatever that
likewise.
Word is,
just
it means
say likewise.
Likewise, Jessie
there
and
you
Kelly
go.
support each other through academic and personal struggles, showing their true friendship involves being there for each other during both triumphs and trials. Through demonstration, the show demonstrates that friends are a source of encouragement and strength, aligning with Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through him who give me strength. Now, caveat to this.
You already said your caveat last time we
You know
used
what?
this
Leave me
verse.
alone. This caveat.
I'm just.
Caveat
This is
to
Steven's
this
soapbox.
is I can do all things through Christ, in Christ's will, that gives me strength to do it. Because I want to make sure that the scripture that is taught there is context.
Yeah. The character dynamics also illustrate how leadership and friendship can coexist. Zack often takes on a leadership role. He's kind of like the leader of the group, but he also depends on his friends for support and guidance. This balance of leadership and support reflects the biblical principle of mutual encouragement and support. I love that. Yeah, you can be friends, but still lead them.
Right.
I know some that are like, no, you can't be friends with those you lead. No, you can.
I mean, shoot, you see with pastors all the time.
Yeah.
Well, good pastors, let me phrase that.
Good pastors.
Another notable aspect is how the show handles conflicts and misunderstandings. The characters often face challenges but work through their differences to strengthen their relationship. This mirrors the biblical idea of reconciliation and forgiveness in Matthew 18:21 through 22, where Jesus teaches about forgiving others.
Yeah, Saved by the Bell teaches us that true friendship involves being loyal, supportive, and willing to help each other grow. The show's portrayal of friendship highlights the importance of standing by your friends and working together to overcome obstacles. And that is very important because I need friends when I go through these trials. And so I shouldn't always expect them to be there for me, but me not have to return the favor. It's not why we do it. We're not like, oh, well, I helped you out, so that means you got to help me out. It's never like a, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, you scratch my back. Quid pro quo. Exactly. It's meant to be, if you need me to scratch your back more, then I need you to scratch mine. That's okay, because that's what friendship is. Friendship doesn't keep track of how many times did I help you out and how many times did you help me out. Well, you're at a deficit of -5, so I can't help you out anymore until you kind of, lower that deficit. It's not like that.
No.
True friends are going to be there for each other whenever, wherever they're needed.
This true friendship is an amazing thing. I mean, I know, like, if something ever happened and if it was either me living on the streets or something else, I know that you and your wife would gladly open up your house to me.
Absolutely.
These shows, there's a lot of thoughtful responses, and I have some questions.
Yeah.
I got some questions.
Okay.
About for you, Jason, about friendship and
All
loyalty.
right.
The first
Okay.
question: how does Friends illustrate the biblical principle of unconditional love and support?
Friends shows unconditional love through the characters' consistent support and forgiveness. Despite their flaws and conflict, they always stand by each other. Loving at all times and bearing with each other, forgiving each other. It's all important, and so it's awesome that whether they meant to do it or not, the people who created the show, they reflect these, whether they realize it or not. It's biblical. I'm not saying it's a Christian show by any means,
No.
but it's really interesting that we can, like this whole series, we can take these shows that aren't Christian and yet show how they actually reflect Christian thoughts. Now let me ask you a question, Stephen. I'm gonna turn the tables. I'm gonna ask you a question. All right. So, what lessons about loyalty can we learn from Saved by the Bell?
Saved by the Bell teaches us about the importance of being loyal and supportive friends. Especially during difficult times, the show demonstrates mutual encouragement and support, aligning with Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 about helping each other up when they're down.
Yeah. So, how can we apply these lessons of these shows to our own friendship? You know, not just look at them and be like, hey, that would be really cool to have a friendship like that or whatever. How can we actually apply that to our lives, to our own friendships?
Applying these lessons involves being a reliable and supportive friend, practicing forgiveness when one needs to forgive, and encouraging one another. It's about embodying the values of loyalty and unconditional love in our relationship, just as depicted in these shows.
Yep.
You know, Jason, this week we've explored the values of friendship and loyalty through Friends and Saved by the Bell. These shows remind us of the importance of maintaining strong, supportive relationship and being there for our friends through both the good times and challenges.
Yeah. So, of course, every week we offer our listeners the challenge. And so here's our challenge. Reach out to a friend and express your appreciation for their loyalty and support. And share with them how much they mean to you and find a meaningful way to strengthen your bond. You know, it could be a heartfelt conversation, a gesture of appreciation, or spending quality time together doing sumo. Which, for the record, my ankle, I am walking on it without without the walking boot. So I'm getting there, but it's still not 100%. Sorry, Steven. I want to hang out with you. I want to do sumo. I see the guys' conversation in Discord, and I saw your thing. You commented. You're like, I miss you guys, and I'm like, man, I feel bad because we still can't go. But there's other ways we can spend quality time together.
Right. All right. Well, as always, guys, thanks for joining us. Next week, we'll dive into themes of redemption and overcoming adversity through like Shawshank Redemption and classic 90s
Classic
cartoons.
show.
Kind of
Classic
gives us
movie.
a nice headway into next month where we're talking about Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes.
Until then, I'm Steven.
And I'm Jason. Stay tuned and keep those 90s values alive.
Until then, stay geeky, stay loved, and Excelsior.
Excelsior.
All right.
Have a great week. And remember, buy from the shop, subscribe, tell your friends about us, and just stay in contact with us.